Hello class, this is going to be our last review of sharps and flats and whole steps and half steps and major scales before we start new stuff on Monday. Today is Friday, May 1st. Here we go. So, to review, let's start with sharps. Sharp means to raise the frequency of a note on a keyboard. Higher frequencies are that way. So if I play G and then I raise the frequency up, this key would then be G sharp because it is to the right of G. And so sharp means up or to the right at all times. Flat means down or to the left or to lower the frequency. So if I were to play G and lower the frequency from G, that would make this note G flat because flat means lower. So this black key can sometimes be called G sharp because it is up or to the right of G. It is a G that has been raised. And this is G flat because it is a G that has been lowered. Now, the weird thing about the system that makes it work really well is these black keys, and actually all the notes, can have multiple names depending on context. So, if I'm on F and I raise F up, I also land on this same black key, only now, because I started on F and went up, it's called F sharp. So sometimes this is F sharp, sometimes it is G flat. So sharps and flats work that way. We're going to see a couple of cases. Then let's talk whole steps and half steps one more time. Whole steps and half steps. Steps are distances between notes. And so I can move from an F to a G two ways. I can go from F to G, skipping this black key, making that a whole step. But if I want to go a half step, I would go to here, and that would be F to G flat. Because I've only moved a half step, there's nothing in between. A couple of other issues that I saw in videos, from E to F is a half step. They're both white keys, but there's nothing in between. When you don't skip anything, that's a half step. When you skip a note, whether it is a whole step or a half step, doesn't matter. It could be a white key or a black key, you skip one note. So, F to G is a whole step because you skip the black key. F sharp to G sharp is also a whole step because you skip the white key. Now, bearing all that in mind, major scales. There are 3 rules for major scales. You have to use one of every letter. You cannot have sharps and flats together in the same scale, and the pattern is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. So as an example, here's the D major scale. I start on D. I go up a whole step, which means skip a note. So I skip this, I land here, E. Now I need another whole step. I skip F, I land on this black key. That now has to be called some kind of F because you need one of every letter, so that's F sharp. Now I need a half step. The immediate next note is G because in a half step you skip nothing. Now I need a whole step, skip the black key, land on A. Now I need a whole step, skip the black key, land on B. Now I need another whole step, skip C, land on this black key. That has to be called C sharp because it is to the right of C. C is the next letter of the alphabet, and I can't call it D flat because that I started on D, and that would give me D and D flat in the same scale. That's not okay. So it's C sharp, then I need a half step to D, D major scale. Great. Those rules happen no matter what. And so in yesterday's video, I gave you a kind of trick question with the F sharp major scale. I'm going to give you a couple of more of these really obnoxious ones today, and that'll be the end of it. So I'm going to start on this F sharp. Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. I'm starting on a sharp, so I can't have any flats, and it's one of every letter. So, F sharp. I need a whole step. Skip the white key. This would be G sharp. It's F sharp to G sharp. Now I need another whole step. Skip the white key, land here. That's going to be A sharp. Now I need a half step. Immediate next note is B. Now I need a whole step. Skip C, land on C sharp. Now I need a whole step. Skip the white key, land on D sharp. Now I need a whole step. I'm on D sharp. The next note is E, I skip it. I land on F. Wrong! Because you can't go from a D to an F, I skipped E. This has to be E something. So here's E. If I take E and I make it sharp, I land on F. F and E sharp are the same note. So D sharp, E sharp. It's obnoxious. Even the white keys have multiple names. Then I need a half step to finish. A half step above E sharp, this is E sharp, is F sharp, back where I started. So, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, aka F, F sharp. It works out in the end. So here are a bunch more of those just to mess with your brain. You're going to do, let's do the G flat major scale, starting here. So I'm going to do the first 3 notes of the G flat major scale, and then you're going to write out the rest of the scale. So this is number 1, G flat major. Here we go. And you write out the rest of the scale. That was G flat to A flat to B flat. Second one, we're going to do the, let's do the C sharp major scale. So starting on C sharp. And you're going to write out the end of that scale. That was the C sharp major scale. Now we're going to do, let's say, what's another really, really obnoxious one? Let's go all the way. Here's number 3. This is going to be A sharp. I'm going to leave out 2 notes. You're going to write just the 2 notes that I leave out of A sharp. So here we go. No, we can't do that one. That gets into double sharps. Scratch that. Thinking too far ahead. So we did F sharp, we did C sharp. Let us do we did G flat. We did C sharp. F sharp, C sharp. B. I guess we'll do G sharp to finish it out. Yep. So here's G sharp. And write out the rest of the scale. So we had G flat for number 1, C sharp for number 2, and G sharp for number 3. Hopefully that review is helpful. Bye.